Hello and welcome to another edition of Why Are You Laughing at Me with Gherkin Picklewater. Today I'm joined by Jonas Woolverton, an incredible Cirque artist. He was in Zumanity, Puppetry the Penis. He's a serial artist. He just did a run at the Hollywood Fringe Festival that I got to see in person, an amazing show, the Mac and Fro Show. And Jonas, if you could tell everyone who you are and what you do.
That was a great introduction right there. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yes, I've been a professional clown and serial performer for 24 years now. And started out actually at the Clown Conservatory, like you did, in San Francisco, back in 2001, 2002. And that led me to afterwards audition for the Pickle Circus. I did the end of the year show in the Pickle Circus that was directed by Gypsy Snyder and Shayna Carroll from the Seven Fingers, and they really inspired me to go to Montreal and basically pursue circus as a full time profession. I auditioned for Cirque Eloise, and I was in their show Rain for 5 years, touring the world. And that led me to audition for Cirque du Soleil in Vegas in 2008. And I was in Zumanity for, oh my gosh, 11 years in working with Cirque du Soleil, performing my solo in Sear Wheel and performing the Gigolo Casanova character, which is a super fun and funny character to play. That's just kind of like the basic rundown of the past 24 years.
It's a lot. And so
Yeah.
you started the Clown Conservatory. That's under Jeff Raz. What years were you at the conservatory?
2001 to 2002 was the first year of the professional program at the Clown Conservatory.
That is very
Yeah,
cool.
it was really cool too because I was making a documentary about a sideshow circus in New York City, the Bindlestiff Family Circus, and I wound up getting the circus bug. And as a kid, in high school and in college, I was a dancer, actor, director, and the circus just really captivated me. And so I was making a documentary about the Bindlestiff Circus, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I might want to actually be in front of the camera instead of being behind the camera. And that led me on a whole exploration of clown and uh, how to become a clown was not obvious back in 2001, 2002. But as fortune would have it, the Clown Conservatory started up right when I was looking for it. So it was really kismet, fortuitous thing that happened. And right place, right time, right idea. That's
It,
usually
it,
how
was-
it goes, right?
it was an amazing program that is sorely missed. I mean, it produced so many great clowns, very limited number of professional clowns, but still, it produced so many great clowns, so many people who went on to do amazing stuff. I was there. Uh, my official years were 6 and 7, so I started in 2005. I was there 2006 and 2007, and it was. You mentioned a documentary of Bindlestiff. Is that up anywhere for people to see still?
I actually wound up not finishing it. I wound up just kind of cutting an extended short film that I don't think I think I have it on like VHS somewhere.
I just I just lost 200 hours worth of footage in this transfer of computers of my documentary series on the Clown Conservatory, of which there is
No.
one episode published, um, that is just people discussing what their definition of clown is who went to the conservatory. Um, and we interviewed 30 or 40 different people. We had like 200 hours worth of footage, and it appears to have all gotten corrupted on its backup drive. So that's sad.
No.
Yeah. Um, so you've been doing this for a while. You talked about why you wanted to do it in the first place. Um, what are you trying to accomplish in your work? What is it you're reaching for as a performer? What is it you're trying to do?
Wow, that's a real tall order there. You should buy me a drink first, even though I'm sober, but it's all good. Great question. I seek maximum chaos and um, hilarity, pushing boundaries, being sensitive, being vulnerable. Uh, Usually, you making fun of myself, if anything. Um, I like I like to create work that I would want to watch. Um, that's kind of my criteria for creating is like what would I find hilarious? And 99 times out of 100, it's what other people find hilarious too. Um, Yeah, I prefer. I definitely like pushing the boundaries of like people being openness with their sexuality, their sensuality, their you know, feeling a little bit more free to participate, to get an audience to be active participants in the show. That's definitely I've with the Mac and Fro show, which has performed at Hollywood Fringe. That was, one of my objectives. Because the show itself will fall apart if I don't have audience participation. Um, so I make it very clear up front that the goal of the show is to get you to participate. And if you don't participate, the show is gonna fucking suck. And that's just the truth.
In that show, I mean, and everything you mentioned, the chaos, the vulnerability, the sensitivity, the sexuality are all right up there in the front in that show. But with the audience participation, and this is peering back behind the curtain a little bit, you can say you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But are you, because of the nature of the show, are you forced into a kind of magician's force? You have to take a male volunteer as your main volunteer, or have you had both men and women in that volunteer position?
That's a great question too. I think that for certain roles, like for instance, I do the dating game, uh, McEnfro version of the dating game. And if anybody doesn't know, McEnfro is a character that I created loosely based around John McEnroe, the professional tennis player who notoriously had a horrible temper on the court, and I just love that guy to death, and I just wanted to make an homage to him. So if I'm saying McEnroe and people are like, "What the hell? Like, is he talking about?" It's imagine McEnroe back in 1977. Like with the fro and the full like the short shorts and the high socks. Um, anyways, going back to your question, when I pick volunteers, I have an idea of an archetype that I want to, for instance, say for a dating game that I play in the show, where I'm blindfolded and I have the umpires in my show, two tennis umpires. They select random audience members, and the gag is like two hot young things and one older lady. At first I thought was be a lady, and then it morphed into could be an older gentleman as well. So why not? Like I'm totally open to. I think the gag works, just that it's just like the fact that I choose the older cougar, whether it's male or female, over the two hot young things.
That's
I
really
think you were
interesting.
I think you were the cougar, boy,
I
weren't you?
was, I
You
was,
were
I
the
was
cougar.
your cougar.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
funny.
your blind volunteer that you picked when
Yeah,
I did the show.
that
In
was
my
hot.
show,
Yeah,
as you
I got
saw,
hot.
it was a crazy show. It was well, yeah, let's elaborate on that a little bit. In our show, you had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Is that part of the show, or is that just a thing that happened that time?
Oh man, I don't even remember which
You ended up
wardrobe
fully
malfunction.
naked, essentially.
Oh yeah, I kind of got built into the show, honestly,
Okay.
because I during the Hollywood Fringe was trying to figure out a way to um I had a transition. So basically I played Mac and Fro, and then
Mhm.
Mac and Fro gets really pissed off that nobody can just be quiet and meditate for like 20 minutes. That's a whole other act. And then he breaks his racket and storms off stage. And then um, it introduces the second character, Andreas Heragassi. No relation to Agassi at all, none whatsoever. And yeah, so Andreas Heragassi, long story short, gets this new contraption that he's going to be the spokesperson for, and it's a VR headset. But like the VR headset, there's no thing, there's no visor in it, so he's seeing reality but thinking it's VR, and that anything is possible in VR. So he starts, stripping down, and I think did I teabag you?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, you got the I got teabagged on the back of your head. That was
Yeah.
fun. Thanks for that. Um, got a really great laugh, so thank you. Um, yeah, so I had to transition between the Heragassi character back into Mac and Fro, and I previous versions of the show that I performed in Vegas and even at the Elysian Theater. I had this audio track of like Hiragasy goes off stage, and they get into a fight with McEnfro, but it wasn't working. I was like, man, I really just why don't I just like make the transition happen on stage? Maybe just completely tear off the curtain, see the man behind the curtain, and it's literally just me, Jonas, sitting there naked after Hair is naked. He gets the VR headset swiped away from him. It's just me. It's just me and my bald head sitting there naked, and yeah, it came out of literally just needing a transition, and then it became a really cool like dialogue with the audience. Where I was, yeah, it was a meditation on theater itself, and like how this is possible in the theater, and you can do this in the theater, but you can't necessarily do it. You can't do what I'm doing right now, transitioning to a different character, like in a film, where you see, you pull the curtain and you see the performer behind the character. I mean, you can if you're in like a Lars von Trier movie, I guess, or something, or a Werner Herzog movie, or you know what I mean. Like you can probably do that, get away with that, but like typically it's a theatrical device that I was interested in exploring and seeing where it could go. And yeah, I don't know how did it go? How did it
It
play for
was
you?
so that moment was so perfect and raw. I think that may have been the first. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that may have been the first night you tried to do that way was the night that we were there. I think you said that this is the first time you were trying it that way. But it was really nice. It was raw. It was vulnerable. It was open. It was a complete breakdown of the fourth wall, which we don't really have as clowns anyway. But it was a complete removal of all the affectation that goes around the show, and just a really nice moment of direct contact that didn't involve the back of my head with the performer.
I mean,
In
you
a really
had to like
positive way.
find a denouement. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
see a guy getting teabagged on the back of his head, like, and like, how do you come back from that? And everything kind of clicked into place where it was like, oh, just like strip everything down and just like that was like one of the most insane moments of the whole show. And then how do you recover from that? Well, you just take away all of the affectation, all the character, quote unquote, all the and just really bring it down to its most raw elements and give the audience like a breather. Like
yeah.
after that, they need to fucking take a deep breath of fresh air and just kind of process what just happened.
So changing track slightly. Um, when you were developing Mac and Fro Show, or when you're developing any new piece, how do you go about creating a new piece? Like, what is your theoretical framework before you get in front of an audience of knowing it's going to be good?
Yeah, so McEnfro Show was developed out of the 5 years prior that I had been doing this character McEnfro. I first did him at a tennis, the World Team Tennis tournament, which is Billie Jean King's tournament. I was hired to do steer wheel for like their halftime intermission, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I do this McEnfro character?" And went off great. I even got a documentary crew to come film me as if I was like, behind the scenes with the audience and with behind the scenes for the tournament, talking to the players and stuff like that. So it came out of that character that I've been developing for 5 years, um, and I knew I had a serial act to "Sexy and I Know It." That was kind of a burlesque serial act. I knew that I had a VR act that I'd done in different clown cabarets that I'd kind of refined. Trying to think, there was one other thing I had. Um, I may have had one other thing I can't remember right now, but I had like three acts that I built the entire show around and was like, okay, I know I have three successful acts that are going to work. Um, I had some ideas of acts that I had like written down or stored in my brain and was like, oh, would it be cool if like I juggled tennis rackets? Oh, that was the other thing. I knew how to juggle tennis rackets. And so I knew that those three things would be in the show. And I just had to use the clown logic of like, how do I make this into an act, a bit, like, oh, I'll make the tennis rackets be a Guinness Book of World Record. We'll do the most amount of catches juggling tennis rackets that's ever been done before. And we'll just do it live in front of the audience. And then, how does that play into the character of Hair Agassi, who's got all these sponsorships? Oh, so it's going to be sponsored by Guinness, which sponsors Guinness Book of World Records, and so like it became a whole thing about Guinness and promotion and promoting things. So it, I literally sat down with script format and wrote it out. Like, okay, this is what happens here. I had my acts. I'm like, oh, what if I did this transition, or what if I did what I need a transition here? What could this be? You know what I mean? I started writing it out and just not worrying about flow or order necessarily, and it kind of developed on its own. I wrote it like a film. My background is in film, so I'm writing the show out like a film. And yeah, it just helped. And after that, I've refined it. I've had to edit it down for time. Some of the dialogue was just too talky and not enough like play and not enough direct, play. So the Hollywood Fringe run, I feel like I've really hit my stride of showing, or doing, not showing. You know what I mean? Like just doing the thing and making the funny and not talking about the thing, but just doing it. And yeah, it was a great exercise. So yeah, I'd say like anyone who's aspiring to put together a show, if you've got like a character that you can dream the world in which the character inhabits, what would be fun to see the character do, what would take the character out of their comfort zone, what would make the character upset, what would make the character fall in love, like all the ups and downs of what makes a great character. I plot that into the show and create acts around that if they don't already exist. But definitely having pre-existing material that works, that you've workshopped, you've put in front of cabarets, you've done, as soon as you have those acts, like then you have the foundations for a show. You have the pillars to create a show around.
That's very similar, in many ways, very similar to how I made my show that was in the Fringe, which is just I had three or four act. I thought, well, I've never been able to find a partner that I really could sync up with really well
Mhm.
until the guy who I did the last third of my piece with. And I was just like, I want to do a one man variety show, and I have a few acts, and I stewed on that for a while, and then it actually came to me in a dream to do it the way that I did it. As so many of like the stand up in the act all came from a dream as well. Just so much of this is just I woke up going, oh, well, this is the obvious answer. But it really was just I had some pieces that were predetermined that I knew I could flow into this format.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. I think that also it's important to always remember as a clown or as a comedic performer, what's the game? What is the game in any given moment of your show? What is the audience clear on what the game is? Because once you're in your show, it's you're in this like end of the world um, restaurant, hotel, B&B, right? Something like that. Some weird kind of like delicatessen. I got very Jean-Pierre Jeunet delicatessen
mhm.
vibes from your show. And it was really like that's the game, that's the overall game. But then in each moment in the show, what is the game at any given moment? And it's all about clarifying that, to make it so that um, the audience is clear and feels invested and feels like they're having fun and they want to see how the game's going to turn out. Literally in my show, I play pickleball against one of the audience members for a 6 pack of non-alcoholic beer. Um, like there's literally a game in my show. There's a dating game in my show. There's, what's the game? What's the game? What's the game? Where are we? It's something that people can follow. It's an archetype. It's a structure that people can follow and or get invested in as audience members.
You've been changing tracks again. Sorry. You've
Yeah,
been
go
doing
ahead.
this for
Please.
like 24 years, as you said. You did the pickles, you did Zumanity, you did Puppetry the Penis. You're doing a character at Wizard of Oz at the Sphere right now. You said you're working 7 days a week right now performing. What is a performance or role that you are particularly proud of in your career? What is not necessarily the most proud of, but something that really stands out to you that you are particularly proud of?
Wow, that's a tough question, man, because um, it's like choosing your favorite child if you have, multiple kids. I definitely will say that Puppetry the Penis gave me the confidence to be able to command an audience for an hour doing comedy and really helped me to dial in my relationship with the audience, to read the audience, to interact with the audience, and quite literally gave me the balls to do my own show. I'm like, hey, if I can do a 1 hour show that's somebody else's material that I'm incorporating into my own sort of comedic sensibility, then yes, I can probably build my own show. I will say Zumanity gave me a huge, huge opportunity to crowd work. As the gigolo in Zumanity, I had to find typically an older woman, typically grandma, in the crowd, and it would be great, even better if she was with her family and grandchildren and everything. And I would, at the end of Zumanity, there was a big orgy scene with all the performers on stage, doing kind of like acrobatic orgy moves. Um, and the stage is kind of spinning, and I had to bring this older woman of a certain age to come on stage and like basically like um, have her feel comfortable enough to like go down and like ride me and like but the whole time I'm working the whole show. I'm working this woman. I'm setting up our date. I'm flirting with her. Like and if I've got maybe two or three options in case my first choice doesn't work out, or she gets shy or whatever, doesn't want to come up. But like that humanity gave me a gift in that sense, doing crowd work, but also performing my steer wheel act, 470 shows a year. That I feel like I can go a couple months without doing my serial act and then just jump back into it. So that's always going to be with me as well. So that's it. I would say that, gosh, I know as soon as we stop this interview, I'm gonna remember another one that's, Shakespeare as well. I played Caliban. That was a really it was Nevada Shakespeare Festival show of Tempest, and I played Caliban, and that was like a really wonderful experience. I did sorry, I went to theater. I have to say Scottish play, um, and did the Scottish play and played one of the witches along with Matt Morgan and Heidi Morgan, two incredible clowns. Matt is the head of Nevada Shakespeare Festival also, and he's been, in Absinthe as a gazillionaire, and Heidi as well has been in Absinthe, and Atomic Saloon. So those are really rewarding roles that I played. And yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Good, yeah. Um, we'll do Sear Wheel first. What was it about Sear Wheel that appealed to you? That is not the most common Cirque apparatus. So what drew you to Sear Wheel?
um, when I was in clown conservatory, I had to choose remember how you had to choose a discipline, right? To choose like juggling or acrobatics or trapeze or whatever it was. And nothing was quite like standing out as far as an apparatus that I wanted to focus on, or a skill set that I wanted to focus on. And then when I was in clown school, I saw Cirque du Soleil's production of Eccentricus, and saw Daniel Cyr, he of the Cyr wheel, do like a 1 minute flash passage of him spinning in the wheel. Like literally, it was 1 minute, did some tricks, and then exited stage. And it was like a lightning strike, like bam, like that's what I want to do. I want to do that. And it didn't exist because this was 2000, end of 2001. And it was just like one of the most phenomenal things I'd ever seen. In my mind, I could envision different tricks. Um, and because it didn't exist, I went the next day into the Circus Center closet, the apparatus closet, and found a German wheel, which was it's two rings and it's got handlebars and feet plates, and it kind of looks like a hamster wheel. And started playing around with that. Eventually bought a German wheel, created a German wheel act for my final presentation in Clown Conservatory, and also in the Pickle Circus final show with Gypsy Snyder directing. Um, and wound up auditioning with that act for Cirque du Soleil in early 2003, and then got hired by Cirque du Soleil and started working directly with Daniel Cyr. The very, very beginning of the discipline, there's four of us at the time that in the world that did Cyr wheel. Now it's a lot more common, but not as common, but it's still a lot more common. Um, and that's sort of the genesis of how I got involved with Serial. I just was creating new tricks that had never been done before. Just and a lot of the tricks. It's funny with Serial. A lot of tricks come out of making mistakes, or like if I look back at video of myself, sometimes like I'm like, oh, I didn't grab that at the right time, but it looked really interesting. So a lot of interesting things come out of Serial Wheel that are unexpected. Um, um, and yeah, that's it. Just it speaks to me. I have a theory that I spin counterclockwise to the left, so therefore I'm like reversing time and going keeping myself young. So yeah, I've done over 5,000 shows, so that's a lot of hours
It's a lot of hours.
of
All right,
spinning back in time.
a couple more questions, and I'll let you go. This it looks like this Zoom is running out of time, which has never happened to me before. So
No.
I'm clearly on the wrong account today. Um, so, what is a project or role or something that you've always wanted to do, but because of budget or time or other logistical constraints, weren't able to make happen yet?
Oh wow. I think that, gosh, right now I'm at a kind of a crossroads where I want to develop this new show surrounding my about my Cupid character. So I have a Cupid character that serenades the audience and feeds them cupcakes, and he's really naughty. And I want to create a show around love and a lot of audience participation. Um, Everybody loves Cupid. I mean, how could you not? But he's like a cheeky little. My Cupid's a cheeky little bastard. Um, he does burlesque as well, and so that's kind of like on my horizon right now. I might go do a Cupid character show based around love, around this character that involves a lot of direct audience participation. That's kind of my next live. But also, what I'm working towards is working more in film and television and series. I've got an agent and a manager in LA now, and so I'm part of going to Hollywood Fringe was to make some connections there in Hollywood and just meet people and network and have a great time performing and sharing and so yeah, so film TV is kind of like where I'm headed, but that's a whole other mountain to climb.
Yeah. Um, okay, two more questions, and then we'll wrap
Yes.
it up. Um, what are you working on now? Where can people find your work?
Yes. So Instagram is the best way to follow what I do. I'm at Zoopunk Cirque. So it's spelled ZUPUNKCIRQUE. Zoopunk Cirque. And that's where I keep all my current shows and announcements and weird shenanigans and humorous bits that I'm up to. Um, and I'm also at jonaswoolverton.com. It's JONASWOOLVERTON. Wool like sheep's wool. Um, and yeah, I mean but basically the Instagram is probably the best way to keep track of like what's current.
Cool. Last thing, and I'm not going to try and put you on the spot too much because I didn't warn you beforehand, but tell me something funny. Doesn't have to be a joke, but just tell me something that you're finding funny right now. Jokes work too.
Oh man. Oh, guys, like my worst nightmare, dude. All right. Something funny. Oh, okay. So yesterday I'm in San Diego and I went to the beach and I'm like just, body surfing in the waves and having a blast. And I rush to get back to the theater and get to my wheel. And I get in my wheel and I'm warming up for the show. And I drop down and do like a coin spin like this. And I'm spinning, 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 spinning. And all of a sudden I think I'm getting a nosebleed because I feel like liquid like this. Like I feel like I'm like, oh fuck, I'm getting a nosebleed, aren't I? And I come up and then I go like this and it's clear and I taste it and it's salty and it's just ocean water just spewing out of my nose. And it's all over the stage. Yeah.
Jonas, thank you so much for your time. Um, we will everyone look for Jonas on Instagram, Zoopunk Circus, and jonaswoolverton.com. And hopefully we will talk again very soon, sir.
Great talking to you, man.
You too. Bye bye.